I'm going to challenge everything you think you know about mixing picture frames and show you the one simple technique that will transform your displays from chaotic to cohesive. I used to stash favorite paintings in closets, fearing they'd clash, until I learned this rule. If you've ever hesitated to mix frames, hit subscribe so you never miss a pro decorating tip. You've probably heard to stick with one style, one color, or one material. But this advice is keeping you from creating the kind of dynamic, interesting displays that professional designers are known for. The real secret is understanding that successful frame mixing is about finding balance through contrast, not avoiding it. What you're about to learn will give you the confidence to mix frames in ways you never thought possible, starting with identifying the hidden connections that already exist in your collection. The unifying element strategy reveals a simple truth. You already own frames that work beautifully together, but you're trained to see their differences instead of their connections. Most people scan their collection and immediately notice the obvious contrasts. The sleek black metal frame feels completely different from the ornate gold one. The rustic wood piece seems to clash with the modern acrylic frame. This focus on surface-level differences creates a mental barrier that prevents you from seeing the subtle threads that could tie your entire display together. The core problem runs deeper than aesthetic uncertainty. Art enthusiasts accumulate pieces over time, each frame chosen for a specific artwork or moment in their lives. A vintage botanical painting comes with its delicate gold frame. A bold contemporary painting arrives in stark black metal. A family heirloom carries its original ornate wooden frame. These individual choices make perfect sense, but when it comes time to display them together, paralysis sets in. The frames appear to represent completely different design philosophies, creating the impression that combining them would result in visual chaos. This anxiety stems from focusing on obvious contrasts rather than underlying harmonies. Ornate versus simple creates an either-or decision. Thick versus thin profiles suggest incompatibility. The mind categorizes these elements as opposing forces that cannot coexist in the same space. This black and white thinking transforms frame selection from an enjoyable creative process into a source of decorating stress that keeps beautiful artwork stored away rather than displayed. The foundational principle that professional designers understand operates on a different level entirely. Successful frame mixing relies on identifying one consistent element that runs through your entire display, creating an invisible thread that ties disparate pieces together. This unifying element acts as the common denominator that allows contrasting frames to coexist harmoniously. The human eye naturally seeks patterns and connections, and when it finds that consistent thread, it perceives the display as intentional and cohesive rather than random or chaotic. Three primary unifying elements provide the foundation for successful frame mixing. Color coordination focuses on temperature rather than exact matches, grouping warm brassy frames with warm-toned wood, regardless of their specific materials or styles. Material consistency takes a broader approach, unifying all metal frames of varied thickness while allowing for variations in specific types and finishes. Finish harmony considers surface texture and light reflection, pairing matte black and matte wood frames to create visual rhythm across the display. Consider how brass accents can unify completely different frame styles. A thin brass painting frame pairs beautifully with a thick wooden frame that features brass corner details. Grab one metal accent in your collection and see how it pairs with two other frames. Similarly, consistent black matting creates cohesion even when frame materials vary dramatically. A rustic wood frame with black matting harmonizes with a sleek metal frame featuring the same black matting, and both coordinate with a vintage frame that incorporates black accent lines. Beware of perfect matching. Your eye needs variety threaded by a consistent element. Attempting to match everything perfectly creates boring displays that lack personality and visual interest. Understanding this single concept transforms how you perceive your existing frame collection. Frames you previously considered incompatible reveal hidden connections when viewed through this new lens. The ornate gold frame and the simple black frame might share the same rectangular proportions. The rustic wood piece and the modern metal frame might both feature matte finishes. The vintage frame and the contemporary one might both incorporate warm undertones. These connections were always present, but they remained invisible until you learned to look for them. The key insight that changes everything is recognizing that one unifying element possesses more power than perfect matching. This understanding provides immediate confidence to start experimenting with your current pieces, rather than feeling compelled to purchase entirely new collections. The frames you already own likely contain multiple opportunities for successful combinations once you identify their connecting threads. Your mixed frame displays can now reflect something much more meaningful than simple coordination. This approach transforms your walls into a visual autobiography that reveals your evolving taste and diverse interests. The most successful frame displays tell a story about the owner's personality, and mixed frames create more interesting narratives than uniform collections ever could. Each frame represents a different chapter in your aesthetic journey, from the vintage piece inherited from family to the contemporary frame chosen for your latest art purchase. Here's your action plan: pick your unifying element, map out consistent spacing, and balance visual weight across your display. Stop the scroll, stand up, grab 3 frames, and spot their common thread right now. Tell us which unifying element you'll try first in the comments below. With these steps, your walls will tell your story. No more hiding art away.